boys and girls. My name is Miss Katie, and I am here today to talk to you about one of my favorite things. Do you guys have any guesses as to what that might be? Although I do really love that, that is not my favorite. I'm going to actually give you guys a clue here. My favorite thing sounds like this. Mrrr. Yeah, you got it. It's a cow. But it's not just any cow. It's a dairy cow. How many of you guys have heard of a dairy cow before? I thought I might see that. We have lots of dairy cows here in Arizona. And chances are when you saw that dairy cow, what did it look like? Chances are it was a black and white dairy cow. And that's because most of our Arizona dairy cows are Holstein cows. Can you guys say Holstein? Awesome. Holstein, black and white. Well, our Holstein cows here, this girl right here, she can actually weigh up to 1,500 pounds. Even crazier than that, when she has a baby, her baby can weigh 90 pounds at birth. 90 pounds! How much did you weigh when you were born? Yeah, that's what I thought. A lot bigger, but remember, her mama can weigh 1,500 pounds. The other thing I really like about these Holstein dairy cows is if you notice the spots on the Holsteins. Just like our fingerprints, no two cows are the same. So if you put some Holstein dairy cows together side by side, they're going to have spots that are unique to the individual cow. Kind of cool. Now, if you've seen our Holstein dairy cows, the black and whites, I want to know, have you seen the brown ones? Has anybody seen a brown cow before? Yeah, I thought maybe you'd seen a brown cow before. Did she look something like this? If she did, that's because she's a Jersey. Can you guys say Jersey? Awesome. Now our Jersey cows here, you might notice from the picture that she's a little bit smaller than our Holstein cows. She probably only weighs about 1,000 pounds. So although it's still a lot, not quite as much as our Holsteins. This breed, that's what we call the different types, Holsteins and Jerseys. This breed actually tolerates the heat even more than the Holsteins do. So it's a really good breed to have here in the state of Arizona. The sunshine place, right? Now, can anybody tell me something special about the Jersey cow's milk? What makes her milk different than the Holstein cows? I would have guessed it too, right? But no, the brown cows do not make chocolate milk. Although she doesn't make chocolate milk, her milk is still very special. You see, the Jersey cows, their milk is higher in butter fat, in fat content. So it's used to make those special dairy products like cheese, butter, and my favorite, ice cream. So next time you see somebody, if they tell you what's special about the Jersey milk, what are you gonna say? That's right, not that they make chocolate milk. So now that we know a little bit about the dairy cows here in Arizona, our Holsteins and our Jerseys, the milk they give us and the products we can make from them, I want to introduce you to a very special cow. And her name is Daisy. Do you guys want to learn a little bit about Daisy with me? All right. So to make sure that you're listening carefully, I need to make sure you're sitting crisscross applesauce on your pockets, hands in your lap, ears open, eyes forward, and mouths quiet. You ready? Here we go. Daisy's Dairy Dream. Daisy the cow lived on a beautiful dairy farm in the state of Arizona. Every day, she and the rest of the cows had a great time playing, resting, and eating. Most importantly, they lined up each day to be milked, sometimes as much as 9 gallons per cow. Now, do you guys know what a gallon of milk is? Yeah, when you go to the refrigerator and you pull out that big container, that is 1 gallon. So how many gallons do our Arizona dairy cows produce when they're milked? Up to 9 of those gallons. Awesome. In the evening, when the Arizona sun slowly disappeared beneath the sand, Daisy did what all cows do: settled down for a nice night of sleep. But one night, Daisy had trouble getting to sleep. She laid in her bed and thought about what she might have been if she hadn't been a cow. She loved her life on the dairy, but her mind roamed as she dreamed of what else could be out there. Have you guys ever wanted to be something different? Have you ever dreamed of all the different things you can be? Let's find out what Daisy's dreaming of. A great horned owl flew down from the night sky and landed next to Daisy. It was Daisy's good friend, Saguaro. "Daisy, shouldn't you be asleep by now?" asked Saguaro. "Is something troubling you?" "Hi, Saguaro," answered Daisy. "Oh, sometimes I just think I'd like to visit lots of different places. You know, see what else is out there besides this dairy farm." Interesting," said Saguaro. "What kind of places?" "Oh, I don't know," Daisy said sleepily as she yawned. "As far away as I can travel. How about outer space?" Outer space? Saguaro raised one eyebrow. "Well, I don't know about that." But Daisy was already drifting off to sleep. She began to dream of flying through space wearing a spacesuit. She whizzed by strange planets and stars. "Wow, I'm an astronaut!" Or astro cow. Well, something astro. It's amazing. But all the space travel was making Daisy hungry. She settled down on the surface of the moon and looked for some grass. Is there any grass on the moon? No, there's no grass on the moon. Wait a minute, Daisy thought to herself as she looked around. Does the moon even have grass? Or corn? Or hay? But as we all know, there is no grass or corn or hay on the moon. Daisy's tummy started to grumble. She reached into her spacesuit pocket and found a tube of astronaut food. She tasted it. She didn't like it at all. In fact, the taste was so bad that it woke Daisy up from her dream. "What happened?" asked Saguaro. "Bad dream?" "There's no hay in space," said Daisy. "I could have told you that," answered Saguaro. "But there's always food here at the dairy, isn't there?" "Oh, sure. The farmers make sure we have the best food a cow could ask for. Every day we eat a wholesome diet of corn and hay and lots of other things that cows need." Saguaro suggests that maybe outer space is a little far from the things Daisy loves. Perhaps she should stick closer to home. "Yes," said Daisy, thinking, "I know. The Grand Canyon is in Arizona. I could go there." "And what would you do there?" asked Saguaro. Daisy was starting to sink back into sleep. "I don't know. I'll give tourists rides down to the bottom of the canyon like a mule. I can do the job as good as any mule." And with that, she was back to sleep. She could hardly wait to start dreaming of working at the Grand Canyon, one of the wonders of the world, right here in Arizona. And dream she did. There she stood at the top of the magnificent canyon. A tourist approached her and asked her to take him down to the bottom of the rocky gorge. "Hop on," chirped Daisy, her first customer. Do you think this is going to work out really well? I don't know. Halfway down the steep and treacherous trail, Daisy started to realize that she's not used to having someone ride on her back. And it was hot. Very, very hot. "Do you mind if we take a little break and find some shade?" Daisy asked the tourist. "It's hot out here." "Break?" the tourist barked back. "No break! I want to see the bottom of the canyon. Besides, do you see any shade around here?" Daisy looked around and realized that no, there was no barn nor shade trees of any kind to sit and take a rest. Gosh, I couldn't do that. Daisy woke up in a sweat. "Is it hot in here?" she asked Saguaro. "No," he responded. "It's a cool night. But even if it were a blazing hot Arizona day, you have this barn here to get shade. Not to mention the fans and misters the farmers put up, so you could always stay cool." Did you know that cows have fans and misters? Daisy thought about the wonderful fans, and they always made her feel refreshed after playing out in the hot sun. "Well, I just need to go somewhere cooler then," said Daisy as she put her head down, willing herself back to sleep. Can you guys see this thermometer here? Right? So a thermometer tells us what the temperature is. So right here it says the outside temperature is, what is the outside temperature? That's right, the outside temperature is 105 degrees. Now, what does the temperature say in the shade? Can you see it? 67 degrees. So by providing the cows with shade and those amazing misters, our farmers can keep our cows very, very cool in the summer. I know that's definitely a lot colder than my house is. "Oh my," said Saguaro, "what will you dream of next?" "The frozen Arctic," she said as she was already forming images of running with a sled dog team. I'm a sled dog." "Sled dog?" "Yeah," repeated Saguaro. But he was now falling asleep himself. Daisy was at the head of the team as they whisked through the snowy drifts. Snowflakes danced across her face, and she was the fastest cow you've ever seen. But soon, darkness settled over the great Arctic. It got very cold as the big blue moon rose into the air. Daisy noticed how all the sled dogs curled up and settled down for sleep. But she was freezing. "I can't fall asleep in a bunch of snow," she said out loud, only then realizing she had woken back up in the barn. "I don't blame you," said Saguaro, who was now wide awake. "Dreaming of the Arctic?" Daisy looked around at her nice warm bed made of straw and sand. "Oh, thank goodness," she muttered. She thought about how well the farmers here at the dairy treat all the cows. They even clean out the cows' beds and make sure they're fresh and cozy. Does this look a lot better for a cow? Yeah, Daisy needs to stay home. "It's very late, Daisy. What is it that you really want?" asked Saguaro. "I guess I just want to do something important. To do something to help the world. I know. A scientist." "A scientist? Well, you have about enough time for one more dream before the sun comes up and it's time for breakfast. So go back to sleep and get dreaming," said Saguaro. Daisy laid her head down and squeezed her eyes closed. A scientist, she thought again as she drifted back to sleep. And there she was, standing in front of a table full of test tubes, beakers, and electronic gizmos of all sorts. She scanned the table, not knowing the first thing of what to do. "And now," she exclaimed in a serious tone, "I will create the world's best vitamin." Think this is going to go well? She started mixing this and that without a clue of what she was mixing. Green liquid mixed with purple and started to fizz and bubble. A pinch of some powder from a small bowl and boom! A small explosion filled the room with smoke. Daisy wiped her eyes and looked around. Then she said in an irritated voice, "I'd like to wake up now." And she did. She sat there in the cool Arizona night air next to Saguaro, looking very disappointed. "Daisy," said Saguaro sympathetically, "don't you see? You, my dear, are a happy, healthy dairy cow. You make milk for people to drink. It's loaded with all kinds of vitamins and minerals that people need every single day." Daisy looked at him with a slight smile. "That's true. Milk has 9 essential nutrients, including protein, and that makes people healthy." "Daisy, Arizona has some of the largest dairy farms in the country," said Saguaro. "And this beautiful state has over 200,000 dairy cows, and you are a part of all of that." Daisy stood up and watched the sun rise from behind the distant mountains. She realized how happy she was on that dairy farm. The only way a cow can produce up to 9 gallons of milk a day is to be a happy cow. And she thought about how hard the farmers worked to make sure all the cows were happy. Plenty of healthy food, cooling misters, shade from the hot sun, and a nice clean bed that's soft and dry. And she thought about her important job of producing milk. "You know what, Saguaro? I have a great life here at the dairy." "I thought you might say that, Daisy." And Daisy ran off to join her friends for breakfast. Wasn't that a great story? I love this story because Daisy and her friend Saguaro help us learn about all of the different ways that our Arizona dairy farmers care for all of those cows. Now, I know this was a really fun story, but we know that it was just a cartoon. Why? Because there was a talking cow. But now I want to show you all about Arizona dairies by taking you on a trip to see one of Arizona's very own dairy farms.
All right, cows. Cooperate, we can get this done pretty quick. Just gonna need you to line up one at a time. I just got one pail.
What's he trying to do?
One at a time, we can get this done. You can get back to eating, sleeping, whatever you do best. I'm just here to milk.
He's gonna try to milk all those cows by hand?
I don't know how he's going to do it in that pen standing there.
What?
I'm looking for Mr. Boyle. I heard about the milking job.
Well, you look like you're about 85 years behind your time.
So you're telling me I didn't need to bring this pail and stool?
Nope, we haven't milked them by hand in about, probably about 85 years.
Well, I'm willing to learn if you guys are willing to teach.
All right, you're gonna have a long day, but if you want to do it.
I'm ready for it. Let's go.
used to, in an older barn, you would have to run up and down, milk them.
Okay.
In this barn, the cows come to you. Let's see, the milk comes from up there, comes down this black tube into this pipeline.
Okay.
This pipeline's taking it down there to a receiver.
All right.
From that receiver, it's gonna pump it up across the top of us and down through the center up to the milk tanks and cooling.
How long does it take from cow to truck?
Cow to truck?
Yeah.
Well, from cow to the tank takes less than a minute.
Okay. Wow.
And from truck, you got to figure every 6 hours there's a truck here.
Okay, yeah, it just depends upon when they get
6 to 10 hours there'll be a truck here.
Okay.
You'll ship out 3.5 truckloads a day.
Wow.
And each truckload's roughly 7,500 gallons.
Now the key to keeping milk fresh from the dairy all the way to the stores is to get it as cold as possible as soon as possible as it comes out of the cow. So this is our plate chiller. You can feel this. That's the temperature of the milk coming out of the cow, about 98 degrees.
Warm.
And feel that.
Wow, that's cold.
That's about 36 degrees. The milk comes through our plate chiller here and flash chills it to 36 degrees, where it's then held all the way from here, all the way to the time it ends up in your refrigerator at home.
Well, sure was a good hard day of work today.
Well, you milked a lot of cows.
Turns out I didn't really need that bucket after all, huh?
Nah, milking 3,000 cows requires a little more modern technology than that. Dairy farming's changed a lot in the last 60 years. In the 1940s, there were about 16 million cows in the country. Now there's only about 9 million milk cows in the country. But the big difference is we're actually producing more milk with those 9 million cows than we were in the 40s with 16 million.
Wow.
Yeah, our cows have gotten a lot more productive, mainly because of the high quality care and feed that we provide for them.
Wow. Well, I was glad I could help out today.
But you're not done. We got more to do.
Okay, let's
Come
go. What he expects of me. How am I supposed to move all this hay from here to there to feed the cows? And it's almost dinner time. It's really heavy. Am I all the way over there? There's like way more hay than...
What are you doing?
Well, you said it's time to feed the cows, so I managed to get this one piece of hay down.
Well, let me show you how we do it nowadays.
Okay, let's go. It's better than this.
Come on.
So, boss, how'd I do?
Well, you did a pretty good job, really.
So, what is all this stuff?
Well, it's a mixture of forages and grains, mainly alfalfa, corn silage, sorghum silage. All of that we grow right here on our farm, plus a little bit of grain thrown in also.
Yeah, I could see the individual pieces of corn in here, some other stuff.
Most of it's alfalfa. Arizona's a great place to grow alfalfa, so we utilize it quite a bit for cows.
So, how do you know this is the best stuff for the cow?
We actually have a nutritionist who comes out and formulates the best ration for a milk cow.
Oh, that's good to know.
So yeah, my cows have better nutrition than I do, I think. You'll get used to that.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's manure, but it's also an important part of the dairy.
How?
Well, we farm 1,000 acres of alfalfa and corn here, so we use the manure as fertilizer.
Oh, I thought it was just cow poop.
Nah, manure's got all sorts of uses. Some farmers have started to turn manure into electricity.
Well, how do they do that?
Well, manure gives off methane, which can be captured and then converted into electricity or turned into natural gas.
Oh, well, I guess manure has its uses after all, huh?
It can be an important part of a farm.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. I sure did learn a ton today. I'll be here tomorrow, 8:30. That's about what time we get to work, right?
8:30?
Well, what time do you need me
I
at?
think you're gonna need to get here quite a bit earlier than that.
About 4:30.
Ah.
How did you guys like it? Did you learn something new? What was the coolest thing that you learned about an Arizona dairy farm? Did you already know that all of the cows on the farm were girls? Well, if you didn't before, now you do. They have to be girls because for a cow to produce milk, she has to have that's right, a baby. Well, I hope you had fun on our tour today learning about Arizona dairy cows. Keep eating and drinking those dairy products, and we'll see you next time.